Hey everybody, it's Monday, February 20th, 2023. I did this over the weekend, or well, yesterday. I didn't film it because, well, hurt my back lifting these stupid things. Those railroad ties are about 150 pounds a piece. I was lifting them and carrying them myself and then using a sledgehammer to put the rebar pins in to hold them into place. So I was really in no mood to film, and really still not in the mood to film today, but this turned out really good. Just got some railroad ties from Tractor Supply. They had them for a good price, like $23.99 a piece, which wasn't too bad. Used the backhoe to dig a little trench. That way they're recessed a little bit into the dirt. And then we used some of our gravel that we got the other day to put a little pad in there. Again, we got a ton of rain the other day right after I dug these footers, so it's just been a swamp on these things. The water's finally dried up, but again, having a herniated disc, I'm not really in the mood to be swinging a sledgehammer anytime soon. So this is what we got going on today. Emily bought that Harrow back there a while back for like 500 bucks. We've got to adjust one of the bars on it so that the iMatch system, it's a Ford Harrow, but we have a John Deere tractor, so the iMatch system doesn't necessarily line up. So she's playing with her angle grinder and her saw, trying to cut this bar down so that we can change the angle so it will work with the iMatch system. So she used the big saw there to cut it in half, but here in a second we got to take it down there and match up the angles, and then she'll come up here and weld it. So here's the Harrow we bought for 500 bucks or something off Facebook Marketplace. This bar was a solid piece, obviously here to here. But what happens with that iMatch system is when it goes up, the little hook here where my thumb is, let's say, was hitting that bar. So what we have to do is flip it around, and we're gonna weld it where it's an angle, and now that hook should be clear of that. And then we can also loosen up these nuts and back that up to line up. So I think that's gonna work just with making one cut. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work. We go get a piece of square tubing and do it all over again from scratch. But I think it's gonna work. So now it's just up to Emily and her welding skills to do it. All right, so we're back up here at the barn. Emily used a flap disc and took off the paint, which you got to do before you weld. We really didn't know any of this stuff. I mean, I've seen welding done, but didn't really know anything about welding at all. We took a class, and I got to give a shout out to the Guild down in Pompano Beach, Florida. Sean and Sylvia are two of the greatest people. We took a bunch of blacksmithing classes from them. Hence the anvil. I think they're working on building a grinder and a forge. That way we get it up here. So we're slowly working on all of our workshop stuff. But again, shout out to them because we took a class on welding. Sean made it super simple. He explained everything to us. And I mean, we had to do a little refresher because, well, it's been a year and a half, but it's great. It's a very good trade to understand, or at least a skill to know whether you're good at it or not. And go take a class. And if you're anywhere down in South Florida, go see the guys at the Guild. Take a class, learn to make a knife, learn how to weld, all that cool stuff. Well, here we go. Rosie the Riveter, with a space helmet.
Galaxy helmet.
Can't really talk with the helmet on because it's just an echo, so you're not gonna hear much, but here she goes welding.
Just tacking first. Whoop. Take two.
It moved. That's why they invented the angle grinder.
Take two. Don't put
I told her she needed to do a jed on it, and she said, "What's a jed?" And I said, "You know, clamp it, jed clamp it." And she died laughing. Should have filmed the first take on that, but I guess she should have done a jed.
I should have done the jed.
Should have done a clamp it.
Don't put that in.
Now we put a jet on it.
So we're putting a ring on it.
Yep. Here we go, round 2.
I'm just gonna tack it. Actually, why? What? Did I hit it? Oh,
She missed the line, but that's a pretty good bead.
it's hard to
You
see.
need to take welding 102. But yeah, that's a really nice bead, but I think she missed the crack. That's why you take classes. But
McCracken. Look
again,
at- Look at how nice my bead
gotta
is.
crack a couple eggs to make an omelet. So here we are.
I think I'll just go over up her here. I can weld.
Hey, she hit the crack that time. Looks awesome. So once she gets this thing all welded up, grind it down, make it look pretty.
Make it look like
We'll go down there and see how we can get it to attach. All right, so Emily got that welded. She got the welds ground down. We got some Rust-Oleum paint that actually is Ford Tractor Blue. You can get it at Lowe's or Home Depot. But now what we got to do is put on the iMatch system, and what happens is that thing comes back and there's a hook that comes under here, and now it should have plenty of room to hook on there. Probably should have done a test first, but I'm pretty confident it'll work. So let's see. Now I was too busy putting in my linch pin, which by the way, if you don't know what these things are called, these are linch pins. You flip up, you pull the pin out, but I went to Tractor Supply just holding one saying, I need one of these. I had no idea what they were called. So now we got the iMatch system on here. Emily's gonna move over to the Harrow for the hair. And with this top link, the reason why that's adjustable is if that is tilted one way or another, you can still connect to it. But most of the stuff with John Deere is all at the same angle. But of course, nothing's really precise, or in this case, it's sitting in like a ditch. You might have to adjust that just to attach it. So that's what we got to do now. We got to adjust that top link to line up, and hopefully that hook is going to clear that bar now. So now with the top link adjusted, you see it's got to go back just a little bit more because it's not quite catching on that. If it was maybe more on flat ground, but it's kind of settled a little bit, probably reach. But to do this, all I got to do, loosen up that lock nut and make sure I turn it the right way to extend it. What that's doing is that hook is now getting under there. And then once we got it adjusted, just got to tighten up the lock nut and go from there. There you have it, kids. It's a tiny bit off, but I think it's going to work. Good day out here at Deer Run Farm.